Have you ever done this? Added instructions to your paper instructions or to a PDF printout? Well, I'm going to show you how we can take this and put it into Google Docs so that you can reference it over and over again. Hi, I'm Carmen Grantham and I'm here to come support your sewing practice. So this came about when I was creating a dress recently and I wanted to use the same sleeve band, but it was on a different pattern. So this original one is from Simplicity 2365, but this is from a McCall's pattern. So let's just have a look at it. So it is just, if we just undo that, you can see that it folds down like so, and then what you do, you can fold it up and put the tab. So as you'll see on the inside, you go around, we've had the sleeve being nested in there. And we've got no raw edges for the sleeve band. So let me show you what I do to create these instructions. So let me first switch you over. I'm going to just put this out of the way so you can see my desktop. Just leave me in the corner. Okay, so this is Google Drive and we're currently in the sewing directory and I have a techniques directory. So this is where I have created all of my instructions that I personally use. So in this case, let's have a look. What could we put it under? So we could put it under shirt, or if we wanted to, we could also create a sleeves directory, but I'm actually just going to put it under shirt. So I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it, what do I call it there? Sleeve band. That. And then what I'm going to do is go back to this techniques. So what I have is a sewing instructions template. You could get your own copy. I have it available as a downloadable. So if you go to carmengrantham.com/sewing-instructions-template, you can fill out the form with your name and email address, and I'll email the link for you to get access to that template. So let's just go back to this template here. So the first thing we want to actually do is create a copy. So I'll just go video file, make a copy. We're going to rename that. I'm going to call that sleeve band. I'm going to actually move it into that subdirectory. So go sleeve band, select that. I'm going to select and then hit make copy. So we don't get confused, I'll get rid of that other one. Okay, so first of all, as you can see, it's laid out. Now we don't need all of these sections, but fill out as many as you like. So these are the step-by-step instructions. So there's the option to just be text, another one with text and images, and this one again, text and images, but with a table. And notes and variations that we can add later on. Okay, let's get started with this sleeve band. I'm just going to call that sleeve band. And what I'm actually going to do is load up those instructions. I can see those there. You can also see from here, these are the previous ones that so that's the new dress with the sleeve band. That's another one with a blue shirt with some prints, and that one there. So I have used this quite a few times, these instructions, so it's worth getting set up. So if we go here, I'm on a Windows machine, so I'm going to click the Windows key and left so that I can tile. So I put that one there, and then we're going to load up the instructions. We're going to zoom in a little bit so it's a bit easier to see. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start off with a clear purpose. So this can be create a sleeve band to attach to a not very good on the fly. Create a sleeve band to attach to bottom edge of a 3/4 sleeve or short sleeve shirt. Then we can add to it photo. We could also add a photo. So what I might do is one of these from my temporary one, I'm going to just tile that there. So I'm going to put that in there. Let's just drag this latest one in. And of course it's not supported. So what we're going to do is this one. This is because it's HEIC. Let me show you what to do to fix that. So we're going to open that with Paint. Come over here. So all we have to do is save it as a JPEG or a PNG, and it's going to work. So you can see here now it's got JPEG. Click Save. Close that off. And make sure it's there. I'm going to try again with the JPEG file. Oh, and it didn't quite go in the right spot. Let's try again. It is absolutely massive, so I'm just going to use these to drag it to be a bit smaller. It doesn't need to be so big. We can also add the other ones if we so choose, but I'm going to leave that. References. Okay. I would use this if I'd actually found the instructions from a website or another pattern, or I saw a video about it, but in this case I have just made it up on my own back, so I don't need any references. Also, if you have any physical samples, no, we're not going to do that. So in this case I'm going to remove this section. Materials and tools. Okay, so of course we're going to need the sleeve band fabric, and also a light medium weight interfacing, because the whole piece is going to be interfaced to give it a little bit more structure. Tools, there's nothing really special. We could do an edge foot, so we might say edge foot, which I use for doing the top stitching, which I'll be doing around the edge. And then just sewing machine, an overlocker, and we'll do that. So let's just click that. Preparation, so we want to interface the sleeve band, and I'm just going to get rid of those. So we've got fabric prep. Of course I wash all my fabric beforehand. So interface, pattern pieces, seam allowances used. I'm actually going to put that somewhere different. Any abbreviations, I'm going to keep those there, and then I'll add to that list if we need to. So one thing I didn't write down was the size of this sleeve band fabric. So if we look back here, you can see that I've used 16 centimeters times 43 centimeters. So I'm going to do 16 centimeters times 43. And of course there's a little bit of variation with that. It depends on where you're actually attaching the sleeve band on the sleeve, because it is actually the 43 centimeters is actually the width of where I'm connecting it to the sleeve. So I might just make a note, is the width of sleeve to be attached. So we might actually just switch that over to be sleeve. Let's just put it in uppercase. So I might just do sleeve width. Then I might just do my EG 16 centimeters times 43 centimeters is what I used on my blue and Liberty print shirt. So that was what I used for, if I look back here. So this one here, that's the measurements I use for this particular one. Okay, let's just go back there. I also will say that on the this pattern here, this section was actually 5 centimeters, so I did have to adjust those details, and I also was running out of fabric, so I had to use 1 centimeter seam allowance. So in that case I actually used 13 centimeters times 43 centimeters for, that's the cream and black dress. That's just for future reference. Okay, let's go tools, preparation, we've done that. So step-by-step instructions. So if there are a lot of subsections, like there's lots of groups to use of instructions, then I would have step 1, step 2, so forth. But this case, it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to take away that heading. So I'm just going to copy straight from what I've written. So I've got sew long side of band to sleeve bottom. And that just reminds me I need to change these, because we want to actually say, so we actually want a sleeve do not sew the underarm seam. So I can also put a sleeve out and the bottom edge of a sleeve shirt. The sleeve is not been sewn on underarm seam yet. So we'll go down here. I've done that. Okay, second step is stitch underarm seam. Then we're going to fold up band 1.5 centimeters. Press band in half. Top stitch both long sides of the band. And so in my case, I don't actually have any photos of in progress, but you could add those if you so chose. Or the next time you use these instructions, you could take photos along the way. So I'm just going to clear this up a little bit and get rid of these sections here. So basically we've got those instructions. So long side of band, and the other thing I would just need to put in there is 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. That's why I prefer to put the seam allowance right on here, because then I know straight away what it is. And if I do want to print out the instructions, then it's all in this one page. because it's very rare that I would print out this first page here. So these instructions make sense to me. They might not make sense to you, so use your own words. But as I look at those, I know that when I did this latest one, I did not follow these instructions. What I actually did was press up the one long side of the sleeve band before anything else, and that just made it easier, because at the moment we've got fold up sleeve band 1.5 centimeters step 4. So I'm going to just move that over, fold, and I'm going to say fold one long side of the sleeve band 1.5 centimeters. Then we're going to say the long side of the band to the sleeve bottom, then stitch the underarm seam. And one thing we don't have there is that we want to actually overlock that seam. Press band in half. So, and of course this we can just keep adding to and adding to using your words. Top stitch both long sides of the band. I know in this case here, you can see, I'm going to just expand me out a bit. I'm not going to do it. Okay, you can see here, I have sewn along this line here, but I haven't sewn along here because I thought that would distract from the final finish. So we're just going to make that an optional. Oh yes, move that up to here. Okay, so top stitch. I'm going to say top stitch band to top stitch the top edge of the band to secure. Then optional top stitch bottom edge of band. And you can see I have Grammarly in place. It's got lots of red lines, so usually they love to have lots of these. I'll just put that in there to make it neat. And there we go. We have our instructions for a sleeve band. So when you do actually use them again, print them out or just reference them and make adjustments as you go. And that's what I have done over the years, is just created these instructions, followed them, updated them, and then as I've come to new techniques that I wanted to try, then I would create a new document just as we've done today. So I hope that helps and you can start your own sewing instruction manual.